Engelbert. Those comments actually referenced Fever superstar Caitlin Clark at one point.
The WNBA just exploded into absolute chaos. And what we're about to tell you is going to leave you speechless. Just hours ago, on September 30th, 2025, one of the league's biggest stars walked up to a microphone and dropped a bomb.
You're saying that she was once having a conversation with Engelbert about why so many of these
So devastating that the entire basketball world is still reeling. We're talking about allegations so shocking, comments so tone-deaf, that fans are calling for resignations, players are talking boycotts, and the future of women's basketball might never be the same. Elsie's been here forever, her whole career, so to be able to kind of be in this moment and appreciate where we've come and where we're continuing to go, and at the center of it all, Caitlin Clark, the face of the WNBA, the player who saved the league. And according to what just came out, the commissioner of the WNBA might have just told her she should be grateful for scraps. Stick around, because what you're about to hear is going to make your blood boil. So let's set the scene.
Gets fully exposed. Guys, she makes a comment in this, and we'll listen to the
WNBA playoffs are in full swing, and the Minnesota Lynx, the #1 seed, just got knocked out. They weren't supposed to lose. They had everything going for them. The best record, home court advantage, and one of the league's most dominant players in Napheesa Collier. But the Phoenix Mercury, the 4th seed, had other plans.
Conversations that were had, the WNBA looks terrible.
Game 4, the elimination game, came down to the wire, 86-81. Phoenix takes it. The Lynx season is over. Dreams shattered. Championship hopes crushed. And if that wasn't painful enough, late in that game, Napheesa Collier went down with an ankle injury on what many are calling a controversial no call. Her coach, Cheryl Reeve, absolutely lost it on the sideline. The frustration was palpable. The anger was real. And little did anyone know that anger was about to spill over in ways nobody saw coming. The next day, September 30th, Napheesa Collier walked into her postseason exit interview. Standard procedure, right? Players talk about the season, what went wrong, what they'll work on. But Collier didn't come to talk about basketball. She came with a prepared statement. And when she started reading, jaws dropped. This wasn't your typical athlete interview. This was a full-scale assault on the league's leadership. Quote, "Right now we have the worst leadership in the world." That's how she opened. Not disappointed, not frustrated. The worst leadership in the world. And she was just getting started. Because what came next would send shockwaves through the entire sports world and ignite a firestorm that's still burning as we speak. Collier began sharing specific conversations she'd had with WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, private conversations, behind closed doors discussions that were apparently never meant to see the light of day. And one conversation in particular has fans absolutely losing their minds. Collier revealed that she had asked the commissioner a pretty reasonable question. How do you plan to fix the fact that players like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Paige Buchers, who are clearly driving massive revenue for this league, are making so little money in their first 4 years? It's a fair question, right? These aren't just any players. We're talking about generational talents, household names, athletes who have brought millions of eyeballs to the WNBA. Clark alone has broken attendance records everywhere she plays. Viewership numbers that the league could only dream about a few years ago are now commonplace whenever she's on the court. So Collier wanted to know, what's the plan to pay these superstars what they're actually worth? And here's where it gets absolutely insane. According to Napheesa Collier, Commissioner Engelbert's response was this: Caitlin should be grateful she makes $60 million off the court because without the platform the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. Let that sink in for a second. The commissioner of the WNBA allegedly told one of the league's star players that Caitlin Clark, the woman who has single-handedly revitalized interest in women's basketball, should be grateful. Not that the league should be grateful for Clark. Not that they need to figure out how to compensate the players driving their success, but that Clark should be thankful for the opportunity the WNBA has given her. As if she didn't earn every single bit of her success through talent, hard work, and being absolutely electric on the basketball court. Now, let's talk numbers for a second, because this is where the whole thing becomes even more infuriating. Caitlin Clark's WNBA contract. Her 4-year rookie deal with the Indiana Fever is worth approximately $338,000. Total, over 4 years. That breaks down to about $84,000 per year. Meanwhile, she's making $60 million in endorsements. $60 million from companies who see her value, who recognize that she's a marketable superstar, who understand that she brings in crowds and sells products. But the league she plays for, the league that benefits directly from her star power, they're paying her a fraction of what she's worth. And when asked about it, the commissioner allegedly suggested she should just be happy with what she's got. But wait, there's more. Because that wasn't the only shocking statement Collier revealed. In that same conversation, Engelbert allegedly told her that players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that you got them, on their knees, thanking their lucky stars, as if the players are just lucky to be there, as if they didn't build this league with their blood, sweat, and tears, as if Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Nafisa Collier herself, and every other player in the WNBA aren't the reason anyone is watching in the first place. The audacity of that statement is almost incomprehensible. These aren't charity cases. These are elite athletes at the top of their profession, and the person who's supposed to be their biggest advocate, the person who's supposed to be fighting for them, allegedly told them to be grateful for whatever crumbs they get. Nafisa Collier summed it up perfectly in her statement. She said, "That's the mentality driving our league from the top. We go to battle every day to protect a shield that doesn't value us. The league believes it succeeds despite its players, not because of them." Read that again. The league believes it succeeds despite its players, not because of them. Think about how backwards that is. What is the WNBA without its players? Nothing. It doesn't exist. There are no TV deals, no sponsorships, no packed arenas without the women who step on that court every single night. And yet, according to Collier, the leadership at the very top thinks they're doing the players a favor by letting them play. The reaction online has been swift, and it has been brutal. Social media absolutely erupted the moment this story broke. Fans, analysts, former players, everyone had something to say, and none of it was good for Commissioner Engelbert. One user wrote, "Even for a league as mismanaged as the WNBA, this is still a baffling statement." Another said, "That statement from Engelbert on Caitlin is ridiculous. Who is she kidding?" Someone else posted, "I had to reread this quote 3 times before I believed it." Absolutely stunning to see a high-ranking executive misread their own business like this. Complete idiocy. And perhaps most dramatically, one fan wrote, "I fully support all WNBA players and coaches boycotting until Kathy Engelbert resigns." A boycott. That's where we're at now. Fans are so outraged that they're calling for the commissioner to step down and for players to refuse to play until she does. And you know what? It's hard to blame them. Because let's look at what Caitlin Clark has actually done for this league. She entered the WNBA as a #1 overall pick in 2024, fresh off a legendary college career at Iowa, where she became a household name. From day one, she was must-see TV. Indiana Fever games that used to be played in front of half-empty arenas were suddenly selling out. Road games, hacked. TV ratings, through the roof. The WNBA was experiencing a golden age, and Caitlin Clark was the reason why. She didn't just play basketball, she made people care about women's basketball in ways they hadn't before. Viewership records that had stood for years were shattered. Attendance records fell like dominoes. Merchandise sales skyrocketed. The entire financial outlook of the league improved dramatically, and it wasn't because of some brilliant marketing campaign or a lucky break. It was because of Caitlin Clark and players like her who brought undeniable star power to the court. So when the commissioner allegedly says that Clark should be grateful for the platform the WNBA gave her, it's not just tone deaf, it's factually wrong. Clark didn't need the WNBA to become famous. She was already a megastar. She could have taken her talents overseas where the money is better. She could have focused entirely on her endorsement deals and media appearances. But she chose to play in the WNBA. She chose to give her prime years to this league. And the league's response, according to these allegations, is to tell her she should be thankful. That's not leadership. That's delusion. Here's the thing that makes this even more complicated. The WNBA has come a long way in recent years. The new media rights deal that Engelbert negotiated is actually a significant step forward. It's worth billions over multiple years, and it will mean more money for the league overall. But the problem is how that money is being distributed, and, more importantly, the attitude that apparently comes with it. If the commissioner really did tell players they should be on their knees grateful for a deal she negotiated, that shows a fundamental misunderstanding of the player-league relationship. Players aren't employees who should be happy with whatever they get. They're partners. They're the product. Without them, there is no deal to negotiate. And the fact that rookie contracts are structured in a way that pays superstars less than $100,000 a year while the league generates record revenue is a problem that needs to be fixed, not dismissed. Angel Reese is in the same boat as Clark. Paige Buchers, who's about to enter the league, will face the same situation. These are transcendent talents, players who can sell out arenas and dominate highlights and trend on social media. They're worth millions to the teams they play for and to the league as a whole. But because of the current CBA structure, they'll make a fraction of their value while they're on rookie contracts. And instead of acknowledging that this is a problem, instead of working with the players to find solutions, the commissioner allegedly told them to be grateful. That's not how you build a sustainable, successful league. That's how you breed resentment and watch your biggest stars eventually walk away. And that's what makes Nafisa Collier's statement so powerful and so important. She didn't just complain. She didn't just vent frustration after a tough loss. She laid out a clear indictment of the league's leadership and the philosophy that apparently drives it. When she said, the league believes it succeeds despite its players, not because of them, she was identifying the core problem. There's a disconnect between the people running the WNBA and the people actually playing in it. And until that disconnect is addressed, until the league recognizes that its success is entirely dependent on the talent and star power of its players, these problems are going to continue. So where does this go from here? That's the question everyone's asking. Will Commissioner Engelbert respond to these allegations? Will she deny them, clarify them, or double down? Will other players come forward with their own stories? Will the WNBA Players Association get involved and demand changes? And most importantly, will this actually lead to meaningful reform in how rookie players are compensated? Because at the end of the day, that's what this is really about. It's not just about hurt feelings or disrespectful comments. It's about a systemic issue where the players who drive the most value receive the least compensation, and the leadership doesn't seem to think that's a problem worth solving. What we do know is that the fans are watching and they're not happy. The outcry has been overwhelming. People are paying attention in ways they might not have just a few years ago, and that's actually a good thing for the players. The more attention this gets, the more pressure there will be on the league to make changes. Because here's the reality. Caitlin Clark doesn't need the WNBA more than the WNBA needs Caitlin Clark. And the same is true for every star player in that league. They have options. They have leverage. And if the league continues to treat them like they should just be grateful for the opportunity, eventually those players are going to start looking at those other options. This story is far from over. This is just the beginning. What Nafisa Collier did by speaking out was incredibly brave, and it's opened the floodgates for a conversation that the WNBA desperately needs to have. About compensation, about respect, about leadership, about what it means to truly value the people who make your league successful. And whether you're a die-hard WNBA fan or someone who just started paying attention because of Caitlin Clark, this matters. Because what happens next will determine the future of women's professional basketball in America. Will the league learn from this moment and make the necessary changes? Or will it double down on the attitude that got it here in the first place? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, the players are done staying quiet. And the fans are done accepting business as usual. Change is coming, one way or another. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what happens next. Because trust me, this story is just getting started.